हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द लाइव क्लास। तो आज हम पढ़ेंगे एनसीईआरटी ज्योग्राफी क्लास 12 का चैप्टर नंबर 7 जो कि है टर्सरी एंड क्वाटरनरी एक्टिविटीज़। तो शुरू करते हैं। When you fall ill, you go to your family doctor or you call a doctor. Sometimes your parents take you to a hospital for treatment. While in school, you are taught by your teachers. In the event of any dispute, legal opinion is obtained from a lawyer. Likewise, there are many professionals who provide their service against payment of the fee. Thus, all types of services are special skills provided in exchange of payments. Health, education, law, governance, and recreation, etc., require professional skills. These services require other theoretical knowledge and practical training. Tertiary activities are related to the service sector. Manpower is an important component of the service sector as most of the tertiary activities are performed by skilled laborers, professionally trained experts, and consultants. In the initial stages of economic development, larger proportion of people worked in the primary sector. In a developed economy, the majority of workers get employment in tertiary activity and a moderate proportion is employed in the secondary sector. Tertiary activities include both production and exchange. The production involves the provision of services that are consumed. The output is indirectly measured in terms of wages and salaries. Exchange involves trade, transport, and communication facilities that are used to overcome distance. Tertiary activities therefore involve the commercial output of services rather than the production of tangible goods. They are not directly involved in the processing of physical raw materials. Common examples are the work of a plumber, electrician, technician, launderer, barber, shopkeeper, driver, cashier, teacher, doctor, lawyer, and publisher, etc. The main difference between secondary activities and tertiary activities is that the expertise provided by services relies more heavily on specialized skills, experience, and knowledge of the workers rather than on the production technique, machinery, and factory processes. Types of tertiary activities. By now, you know that you purchase your books, stationery from traders, shops, travel by bus or rail, send letters, talk on telephone, and obtain services of teachers for studies and doctors at the time of illness. Thus, trade, transport, communication, and services are some of the tertiary activities discussed in this section. The chart provides the basis for classifying the tertiary activities. तो ये है चार्ट जिसमें सर्विस सेक्टर के बारे में दिखाया गया है, टर्शियरी एक्टिविटीज़ और क्वाटरनरी एक्टिविटीज़. Trade and commerce. Trade is essentially buying and selling of items produced elsewhere. All the services in retail and wholesale trading or commerce are specially intended for profit. The towns and cities where all these works takes place are known as trading centers. The rise of trading from barter at the local level to money exchange of international scale has produced many centers and institutions such as trading centers or collection and distribution points. Trading centers may be divided into rural and urban marketing centers. Rural marketing centers cater to nearby settlements. These are quasi-urban centers. They serve as trading centers of the most rudimentary type. Here, personal and professional services are not well developed. These form local collecting and distributing centers. Most of these have mandis, wholesale markets, and also retailing areas. They are not urban centers per se, but are significant centers for making available goods and services which are most frequently demanded by rural folk. Periodic markets in rural areas are found where there are no regular markets, and local periodic markets are organized at different temporal intervals. This may be weekly, bi-weekly markets from where people from surrounding areas meet their temporarily accumulated demand. These markets are held on specified dates and move from one place to another. The shopkeepers thus remain busy on all the days while a large area is served by them. Urban marketing centers have more widely specialized urban services. They provide ordinary goods and services as well as many of the specialized goods and services required by people. Urban centers therefore offer manufactured goods as well as many specialized markets develop. Example markets for labor, housing, semi or finished products. Services of educational institutions and professionals such as teachers, lawyers, consultants, physicians, dentists, and veterinary doctors are available. Retail trading. This is the business activity concerned with the sale of goods directly to the consumers. Most of the retail trading takes place in fixed establishments or stores solely devoted to selling. Street peddling, hand carts, trucks, door to door mail order, telephone, automatic vending machine, and internet are examples of non store retail trading. More on stores. Consumer cooperatives were the first of the large-scale innovation in retailing. Departmental stores delegate the responsibility and authority to departmental heads for purchasing of commodities and for overseeing the sale in different sections of the store. Chain stores are able to purchase merchandise most economically, often going so far as to direct the goods to be manufactured to their specification. They employ highly skilled specialists in many executive tasks. They have the ability to experiment in one store and apply the results to many. Wholesale trading. Wholesale trading constitutes bulk business through numerous intermediary merchants and supply houses and not through retail stores. Some large stores, including chain stores, are able to buy directly from the manufacturers. However, most retail stores procure supplies from an intermediary source. Wholesalers often extend credit to retail stores to such an extent that the retailer operates very largely on the wholesaler's capital. Transport. Transport is a service or facility by which people, materials, and manufactured goods are physically carried from one location to another. It is an organized industry created to satisfy man's basic needs of mobility. Modern society requires speedy and efficient transport system to assist in the production, distribution, and consumption of goods. At every stage in this complex system, the value of material is significantly enhanced by transportation. Transport distance can be measured as kilometer distance or actual distance of route length, time distance or time taken to travel on a particular route, and cost distance or expense of traveling on a route. In selecting the mode of transport, distance in terms of time or cost is the determining factor. Isochrone lines are drawn on a map to join places equal in terms of time taken to reach them. Network and accessibility. As transport system develops, different places are linked together to form a network. Networks are made up of nodes and links. A node is the meeting point of two or more routes, a point of origin, a point of destination, or any sizable town along a route. Every road that joins two nodes is called a link. A developed network has many links, which means that places are well connected. Factors affecting transport. Demand for transport is influenced by the size of population. The larger the population size, the greater is the demand for transport. Routes depend on location of cities, towns, villages, industrial centers, and raw materials, pattern of trade between them, nature of landscape between them, type of climate, and funds available for overcoming obstacles along the length of the route. Communication. Communication services involve the transmission of words and messages, facts and ideas. The invention of writing preserved messages and helped to make communication dependent on means of transport. These were actually carried by hand, animals, boat, road, rail, and air. That is why all forms of transport are also referred to as lines of communication. Where the transport network is efficient, communications are easily disseminated. Certain developments such as mobile telephony and satellites have made communication independent of transport. All forms are not fully dissociated because of the cheapness of the older system. Thus, very large volumes of mail continue to be handled by post office all over the world. Some of the communication services are discussed below. Telecommunications. The use of telecommunication is linked to the development of modern technology. It has revolutionized communication because of the speed with which messages are sent. The time reduced it from weeks to minutes. Besides, the recent advancements like mobile telephony have made communication direct and instantaneous at any time and from anywhere. The telegraph, Morse code, and telex have almost become things of the past. Radio and television also help to relay news, pictures, and telephone calls to vast audiences around the world, and hence they are termed as mass media. They are vital for advertising and entertainment. Newspapers are able to cover events in all corners of the world. Satellite communication relays information of the earth and from space. The internet has truly revolutionized the global communication system. Services. Services occur at many different levels. Some are geared to industry, some to people, and some to both industry and people. Example, the transport system. Low order services such as grocery shops and laundries are most common and widespread than high order services or more specialized ones like those of accountants, consultants, and physicians. Services are provided to individual consumers who can afford to pay for them. For example, the gardener, the launderers, and the barber do primarily physical labor. Teacher, lawyers, physician, musician, and others perform mental labor. Many services have now been regulated. Making and maintaining highways and bridges, maintaining firefighting departments, and supplying or supervising education and customer care are among the important services, most often supervised or performed by governments or companies. State and union legislation have established cooperation to supervise and control the marketing of such services as transport, telecommunication, energy, and water supply. Professional services are primarily healthcare, engineering, law, and management. The location of recreational and entertainment services depend on the market. Multiplexes and restaurants might find location within or near the central business district (CBD), whereas a golf course would choose a site where land costs are lower than in the CBD. Personal services are made available to the people to facilitate their work in daily life. The workers migrate from rural areas in search of employment and are unskilled. They are employed in domestic services as housekeepers, cooks, and gardeners. This segment of workers is generally unorganized. One such example in India is Mumbai's Dabbawala tiffin service provided to about 1,75,000 customers all over the city. People engaged in tertiary activities. Today, most people are service workers. Services are provided in all societies. But in more developed countries, a higher percentage of workers is employed in providing service as compared to less developed countries. The trend in employment in this sector has been increasing while it has remained unchanged or decreasing in the primary and secondary activities. Some selected examples. Tourism. Tourism is travel undertaken for purposes of recreation rather than business. It has become the world's single largest tertiary activity in total registered jobs, 250 million, and total revenue 40% of the total GDP. Besides, many local persons are employed to provide services like accommodation, meals, transport, entertainment, and special serving the tourist. Tourism fosters the growth of infrastructure industries, retail trading, and craft industries, souvenirs. In some regions, tourism is seasonal because the vacation period is dependent on favorable weather conditions, but many regions attract visitors all the year round. Tourist region. The warmer places around the Mediterranean coast and the west coast of India are some of the popular tourist destinations in the world. Others include winter sports region found mainly in mountainous areas and various scenic landscape and national parks which are scattered. Historic towns also attract tourists because of the monument, heritage sites and cultural activities. Factors affecting tourism. Demand. Since the last century, the demand for holidays has increased rapidly. Improvements in the standard of living and increased leisure time permit many more people to go on holidays for leisure. Transport. The opening of tourist areas has been aided by improvement in transport facilities. Travel is easier by car with better road system. More significant in recent years has been the expansion in air transport. For example, air travel allows one to travel anywhere in the world in a few hours of flying time from their homes. The advent of package holidays has reduced the costs. Tourist attractions. Climate. Most people from colder regions expect to have warm sunny weather for beach holidays. This is one of the main reasons for the importance of tourism in southern Europe and the Mediterranean lands. The Mediterranean climate offers almost consistently higher temperatures than in other parts of Europe, long hours of sunshine and low rainfall throughout the peak holiday season. People taking winter holidays have specific climatic requirements, either higher temperatures than their own homelands or snow cover suitable for skiing. Landscape. Many people like to spend their holidays in an attractive environment, which often means mountains, lakes, spectacular sea, coasts, and landscapes not completely altered by man. History and art. The history and art of an area have potential attractiveness. People visit ancient or picturesque towns and archaeological sites and enjoy exploring castles, palaces, and churches. Culture and economy. These attract tourists with a penchant for expressing ethnic and local customs. Besides, if a region provides for the needs of tourists at a cheap cost, it is likely to become very popular. Homestay has emerged as a profitable business, such as heritage homes in Goa, Madikeri, and Coorg in Karnataka. Medical fees for overseas patients in India. About 55,000 patients from USA visited India in 2005 for treatment. This is still a small number compared with the millions of surgeries performed each year in the US healthcare system. India has emerged as the leading country of medical tourism in the world. World class hospitals located in metropolitan cities cater to patients all over the world. Medical tourism brings abundant benefits to developing countries like India, Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia. Beyond medical tourism is the trend of outsourcing of medical tests and data interpretation. Hospitals in India, Switzerland, and Australia have been performing certain medical services, ranging from reading radiology images to interpreting magnetic resonance images (MRIs) and ultrasound tests. Outsourcing holds tremendous advantage for patients if it is focused on improving quality or providing specialized care. Medical tourism. When medical treatment is combined with international tourism activity, it lends itself to what is commonly known as medical tourism. Quaternary activities. What do a CEO of an MNC in Copenhagen at New York and a medical transcriptionist at Bangalore have in common? All these people work in a segment of the service sector that is knowledge oriented. The sector can be divided into quaternary and quinary activities. Quaternary activities involve some of the following: the collection, production, and dissemination of information, or even the production of information. Quaternary activities center around research development and may be seen as an advanced form of services involving specialized knowledge and technical skills. The quaternary sector. The quaternary sector, along with the tertiary sector, has replaced most of the primary and secondary employment as the basis for economic growth. Over half of all workers in developed economies are in knowledge sector, and there has been a very high growth in demand for and consumption of information based services from mutual fund managers to tax consultants, software developers, and statisticians. Personnel working in office buildings, elementary schools, and university classrooms, hospitals, and doctors' offices, theaters, accounting, and brokerage firms all belong to this category of services. Like some of the tertiary functions, quaternary activities can also be outsourced. They are not tied to resources affected by the environment or necessarily localized by market. Quaternary activities. The highest level of decision makers or policy makers perform quaternary activities. These are substantially different from the knowledge based industries that the quaternary sector in general deals with. Quaternary activities are services that focus on the creation, rearrangement, and interpretation of new and existing ideas, data interpretation, and the use and evolution of new technologies. Often referred to as gold collar professions, they represent another subdivision of the tertiary sector, representing special and highly paid skills of senior business executives, government officials, research scientists, financial and legal consultants, etc. Their importance in the structure of advanced economics far outweighs their numbers. Outsourcing has resulted in the opening of a large number of call centers in India, China, Eastern Europe, Israel, Philippines, and Costa Rica. It has created new jobs in these countries. Outsourcing is coming to those countries where cheap and skilled workers are available. These are also out-migrating countries. With the work available through outsourcing, the migrants in these countries may come down. Outsourcing countries are facing resistance from job-seeking youth in their respective countries. The comparative advantage is the main reason for continuing outsourcing. New trends in culinary services include knowledge processing outsourcing (KPO) and home sourcing, the latter as an alternative to outsourcing. The KPO industry is distinct from business process outsourcing (BPO) as in it involves highly skilled workers. It is information driven knowledge outsourcing. KPO enables companies to create additional business opportunities. Examples of KPOs include research and development (R&D) activities, e-learning, business research, intellectual property research, legal profession, and the banking sector. Outsourcing. Outsourcing or contracting out is giving work to an outside agency to improve efficiency and to reduce costs. When outsourcing involves transferring work to overseas location, it is described by the term of shoring, although both of shoring and outsourcing are used together. Business activities that are outsourced include information technology, human resource, customer support, and call center services, and at times also manufacturing and engineering. Data processing is an IT related service easily be carried out in Asian, East European, and African countries. In these countries, IT skilled staff with good English language skills are available at lower wages than those in developed countries. Thus, a company in Hyderabad or Manila does work on a project based on GIS techniques for a country like USA or Japan. Overhead costs are also much lower, making it profitable to get job work carried out overseas, whether it is India, China, or even a less populous country like Botswana in Africa. The digital divide. Opportunities emerging from the information and communication technology based development is unevenly distributed across the globe. There are wide ranging economic, political, and social differences among countries. How quickly countries can provide ICT access and benefits to its citizens is the deciding factor. While developed countries in general have surged forward, the developing countries have lagged behind, and this is known as the digital divide. Similarly, digital divide exists within countries. For example, in a large country like India or Russia, it is inevitable that certain areas like metropolitan center possess better connectivity and access to the digital world versus peripheral rural areas. तो ये था हमारा आज का चैप्टर और ये है इस चैप्टर का एक्सरसाइज। तो हमारा आज का सेशन यहीं तक था। अगर आपको डेली लाइव क्लास ज्वाइन करना है तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन आइकन को क्लिक कर दीजिए, और अगर आप वीडियो अच्छे लगे तो लाइक कर दीजिए। थैंक यू, थैंक्स फॉर ज्वाइनिंग।